Hey traders, Sam Shakespeare coming to you live. How's everyone doing today? Happy Monday. Alright, it's April 27th. It's a new week. Hey George, how's it going? I got some new fresh coffee. I'm feeling good. Hey Simon, how's it going, man? I hope everyone's good. Hey Kyle, excited. I got the new update out. Okay, so everyone hopefully got their version 2.10 installed of the VTA. I'll tell you quickly, Taj wanted to know how can you tell if the install went right and everything's good. You can just go to your experts tab. Boom. See that? So whenever you do it, it'll say version 2.10 is active. If you see that, you're good to go. Alright, version 2.10, okay? That's how you know. It'll also tell you, you should see the whatever bots you have. You should see Trend Bot and you should see Snapback Bot if you are a lifer. Okay, that's what you should see. If you're not a lifer, you shouldn't see these. No one should see the Supreme Combo trade recovery reversal yet. You'll get alerts for those, no problem. You'll still get Supreme Combo alerts, but you shouldn't get auto trades. Alright. Okay, let's pull that down for a second. We got a little bit to go over. Not a lot. Now let me just go over some of the quick little updates. I've done a lot, actually. I've improved some algorithms. Most of the changes we did on this one are algorithms for future releases of the bots, like the L1, L7 crossover, the Supreme Combo. Before I go into the rest of what I did, I'm going to tell you that what's coming soon is I'm going to separate the monster bot as a whole strategy. It's going to be like a Build-A-Bear trend. Not really. It's going to be like a Build-A-Trend, though. It's the way I see the monster bot is really cool. I like it. It's going to be separated off because I want to keep the 1, the 5, and the 15-minute trends kind of how I want to keep them a little different than the monster trends. So a monster trend is a nice situation when you've got multiple time frames lined up together, allowing you to scale in. But like a 1-minute trend by itself, you don't really need all 3 time frames lined up. If you got 1, 5, and 15-minute time frames, really, if you think about this, you need 2 out of 3, right? 3 is fine, but 2 out of 3 is all you need when you're talking about 3 time frames. And the reason is simple, because first of all, if you get the largest one, like say the 1, 5, and 15-minute time frames, and I'm just going to talk a little abstract here right now, so just follow along the best you can. I'm not going to have a lot of visual right now, and this will be really short, but what I'm trying to say is if you're looking at a 1-minute trend and you have the 15-minute white zone expanding and looking great, then honestly, I don't care which one, the 1 or the 5, is expanding. As long as one of them is, and both of them, the L1, L7 cross in the direction, then that's fine. Because you can have a 15-minute trend and it pulls back a little, collapsing the 5, right? If that happens and then the 1 starts working again and the 1 expands, I'll take that. Or if maybe the 1 collapses, but the 1 and 5 still stay the same. They're still both expanded. The 1 collapses just a little bit, but then starts working again, and the L1 gets out in front of all the other band chains. You don't really have to wait for an expansion in that case. So really, the 1-minute trends and any of the trends by themselves, we are not really planning a scale in. Really, you just need 2 out of 3 white zones expanding, and so there's a difference there. And I don't want to. We're missing a lot of maybe good 1-minute trades because we're making the monster the king algorithm on all the trends. So I'm definitely going to pull the monster out. We're going to let the trends be what they are, the non-scale-inable trends. Just a trend is a trend. And then we're going to do the monster trend, and we're going to have it be, soon it's going to be off the VTA altogether. All your lifers don't have to worry, you have it regardless, but it's going to be basically a situation where you can build a trend basically defining what you want to see on each time frame. So on each time frame, you're going to have an example of, you're going to be able to choose an L1, L2 cross, an L1, L7 cross, or a white zone expansion for each time frame on what you require for each time frame. I'll go into a little bit more when I have that more developed, but the very next update, it's going to be separated, and I'm going to start implementing a lot of what I'm talking about. I don't know if I'm going to do it all in one update, but the next few updates are going to be some big changes, okay? I still recommend everyone's on demo, and simply for the fact, especially with the monster trend bot, it's a new strategy, and I still may want to make some tweaks to it. I know a lot of guys want to hurry up and make some pips, fine, but just know there will be some minor tweaks coming for the monster. There was a little bug in the ND matrix, okay? So you all have a new ND matrix in there. I've also added a new feature. I'm going to show you now. Let's look at this pound yen chart. In your 1 minute trend trade, right now I want you to see something in the advanced settings on your 1 minute trend. Look at down at the bottom. Requires 60-minute white zone expansion. If you notice, it's probably set to true in your settings. Okay, it's probably set to true. I was toying whether to make it set to false, because the reason is I didn't want to change anyone's algorithm, and right now all the settings have not required this to be true. I gotta say, when you go back and look at the ones that worked, this was at true anyway. Okay, but we didn't require it, but it was true in a lot of our winning trades. I think that if I set this to true for the newer traders, that'll give you the best chance for a great monster trend to work. So your monsters will probably be a little less frequent, but you'll probably not get as many false breakouts, or false trends. But that being said, just having the 60-minute L1 and L2 crossed is pretty good. Okay, that does help a lot. But making sure the white zone is expanded, also, a good move. All right. So it's set to true. If you don't want to change anything with what you're doing, you can set this back to false, and that'll be how it was before the update. Let's look at this monster trend. This is a monster trend. Let me show you this part. Look at this. Now, this is a different currency pair, Antonio. Look at this. See this 1 minute trend? It's set to false. This one is set to false. In other words, this pound dollar monster did not require a 60-minute white zone expansion for the entry. It just required a 60-minute L1 L2 cross in the direction of the trade. That's all it required. Let's look at the trade now. So let's look at the hour. So we did not require the expansion. Right? See, it's not expanded. So this is what's going to happen. You could get long monster trends that are under the L1 L7, for example. For it to be an expansion, everything has to be above the L7. The white zone, the price, the L1, everything needs to be above the L7. So you eliminate these types of monsters where you're bumping into a 1 hour L7. These will never happen if you set that new setting to true. Like I showed you, require the 60-minute white zone expansion. All right, this is what could happen if you don't require the expansion. You could get in a situation like this where, yeah, the hour is kind of trending. If you don't look at the background, you just look at the candles. Okay, we've moved up into a higher high, but you don't realize you're just really reverting to the mean. So, and also this one seems to be having a little issue. It's having a little trouble. It's not really, the whole thing looks like it's coming down now. It doesn't look like a monster trend anymore. It's because it has this L7 on the hour to deal with. This is the type of trade you will avoid by setting that new require 60-minute expansion to true. So another update I've done on this update is, before, when you've hit your levels, money management levels hit, it didn't let you even make a manual trade. So now I've gotten rid of that. So you've basically, before, if you wanted to take another manual trade, you had to reset your whole levels, which was never good because it opened up the VTA again. You could get more alerts, and you didn't want a bunch more alerts. All you want to do is take a manual trade, even though you may have hit your drawdown level or you may have hit your target level, but you see a high probability setup that you think you can snag a few pips on and you want to do it, you should be able to do it. You can. So even if you hit your levels, you can still buy and sell. So be careful, because if you're on one click, you can do it on accident, right? All right, so that is actually a new feature. I forgot about that.